chimney, so to speak, of Barclays and 91 Springboard and a fintech innovation hub. There's three parts to RISE. There's our co-working space, RISE Labs. There's the RISE Fintech Accelerator, and then there's this doped out theatre area, the RISE Theatre. Right? The idea is this is a community of thinkers, doers, innovators in the financial services space. We keep our doors open to all these guys to come in here, make use of all the facilities that are there here, including the plug and play space, and the great events that happen here, including UpStart. Right? Thanks a lot for bringing UpStart to Mumbai and to Rise Mumbai, guys. I hope we do a lot of more stuff together and keep doing amazing stuff like this. You guys want to know more about what Rise Mumbai has in store, you can reach out to me. My name is Milton. I'll be around for the rest of the evening. Welcome, guys. Everyone, hello
everyone, and a warm welcome to UpStart series in Mumbai. We tend to interact with a lot of startup entrepreneurs, knowing their stories of successes, of their failures, of all the hardships. And in the process, we wanted to do something that we would bring the ecosystem together so that we could meet, interact, learn from their stories, and get to know better, learn better, scale better. We have Richard and his team here who would love to hear your stories of starting out, whatever hardships you're facing. And anytime you feel stuck for payments or you want to find a solution, that we would be more than helpful to listen to you and to help you out with the entire part. In this session of UpStart, we focus on the topic of funding. And companies raise funds for various reasons, to hire the right people, to build the right product, to scale, to market properly, various things that funding is required for. And today we have four speakers who will be talking to you about funding the Funda. First we have Jitendra Gupta, who is the founder of such a state. Jitendra will take you through, he's been an entrepreneur and will take you through the stories of starting up and raising funds. We have Sasha. Sasha has been the founder of A Capital and the founder of Mumbai Angels. And Sasha will take us through his journey as an investor and also share his thoughts on the present funding scheme. We then are joined by Amitabh Sinha, who is from SME Chamber of Commerce. Amitabh will be sharing his thoughts around the topic of funding is not a business model. And lastly, we have Sharanya, who is from Adya Legal. And Sharanya will be telling us how to be prepared about being investment ready, how to be ready for investment. Sure, so I will now start the session and would invite Jitendra to come and share his thoughts around his funding stories.
Thank you. Hi, good evening everyone, and I can totally appreciate you people turning up here in such a high amount of way. But I'll make sure it becomes an interesting session. So, first of all, I want to thank RISE team to give us the space to organize this. And considering we are a fintech company, so definitely we would love to work closely with it. And then I would like to thank Amitabh and Sasha, who actually took the time out on Sunday evening, which is a family time. But this is Sasha, and really appreciate this gesture. So, just a quick start, who I am and what I've done so far, and what are the learnings, at least which I had in my journey. So I would love to share, and I'll keep it short because the format which I want to update is where I would like to encourage you guys to ask as many questions as you want to ask. So generally, I've seen the one-sided conversation, and it's very easy to give a yarn while one person has reached to some milestone. So I can just spin around stories and tell you, and then, but what is difficult part is the journey which people go through, and then there are specific questions which they may have, and which I would love to answer if I had insight. So just to give quick background on me, so before starting Citrus, I used to work with ICICI Bank. I'm CA by qualification, and I worked with ICICI for around 8 years, and primarily into retail banking, investment banking, payments. And the last assignment in the bank was in payments. This is where I actually picked up the trades of payments business. So I was driving the strategy for the bank for both the online and the retail payments. And this sort of really excited me, the space, because what I realized while working in the bank is that banks are not investing into technology when it comes to payment set of technology. And the situation has changed now, so I don't hold me up for that. But at least back then when I was working in the bank, and merchants were expecting much more different than what banks were providing. So clearly, when it came to payments, banks were providing this connectivity. And when it came to payments from merchant side, which is the online businesses who were starting their business, they were expecting experience, they were expecting ability to accept payments faster, seamless. The entrepreneurs wanted to focus more on driving their business rather than struggling around payment APIs, struggling around approval for payment onboarding and all of that. And this is where I saw the opportunity, and I quit bank in 2010 September. And literally after doing 8 months of research and some freelance work, I realized that this space is set for disruption. So they were following what the consideration factors which at least I considered when I looked into this segment. So I was not a technology guy when I started Citrus. Now I can say I understand technology a bit. But definitely what sort of influenced my decision was that what is the market opportunity I am getting into, and whether that market is gonna sustain, one, and then second, what will be the scale of the market under which company will operate in. And that actually, when I look at the payments, I was like convinced, I would say to the infinite, that this is one sector which in next 10 or 15 years in India will continue to go only one way, which is this way. And there is no way this sector will go flat or down. And that was a real insight when I look at other markets in terms of when smartphone penetration comes into the market, when internet penetration starts increasing, how the payments market starts changing. And this then, so my thesis was that even if I do average, because I'm a non-tech guy, so I will continue to do average, but by doing average thing, I should be able to sustain. And that was my thesis of starting up. And fortunately, of course, being an ambitious person, we didn't want to be average. So we set up a world-class tech team. We set up a world-class tech architecture. And today, I can vouch that clearly Citrus is known for bringing new products and payments to the market. Citrus is known for innovating in payment sector. So we changed the payments definition completely way back in 2012 and 13 when people were understanding payments just as connectivity. And this is where it was a very, very interesting journey. So just to sort of give you a quick in terms of stage thing. So in my opinion, every entrepreneur goes through a different life stages of the whole journey. So your stage one, where you're at the idea stage, and this is where you're actually testing out your idea with your friends, your family, your industry peers. And what happens in that stage is, I would say, if it is a good idea, many people will say yes. If you ask them, will you jump into this idea? They will say, no, I don't know. And this is where probably I feel this is where their conviction show up, whether they are truly saying yes or not. But at the same time, I think what I mean by here is the idea validation is a very, very important thing. One should do that. But that does not mean that if everyone is telling you around that this idea is shit, the idea is actually shit. It doesn't mean that. So So I give a real life example. So when I got into payments, starting citrus, I walked up to each bank for tying up with connectivity layer. And since I had my friends in banking sector, so each of them told me, hey, Jitendra, why are you doing this foolish thing? Why are you entering into payments world? I don't understand. Payment is such a crowded space. And we don't see any sense in you starting another company when already built in CCME are so large. Why should you try doing something in payment space? And so that was one side of the thinking. Other side of my inner conviction that yes, there is enough opportunity. Market dynamics are going to change. So can I ride the wave where the market dynamics will be changing? And the third was then my friends, and I think and family. And I think this is where I would say my friends and family really sort of at least gave me one piece of advice which worked for me. Saying that so I was 28 or 29 back then. So they were like, you are 28 right now, and if you feel that you want to devote 2 years of life to yourself, and even if you fail or pass or make a good company, it doesn't matter. At least you will be happy that you have jumped into something which you wanted to, and you have given yourself 2 years. So think it like this: you're in a corporate world for 40 years if you are working from age of 25 till 65. And there are many steps in the corporate world where sometimes you get promotion, sometimes you don't get promotion, sometimes your company is not doing good, sometimes you yourself, your performance wasn't good. I mean, so 2 years in one 40-year journey of your career, what impact is going to make? Nothing. I mean, at least if one grows old at the age of 40, 45, you are not going to regret that I could have tried that. I could have done that. I could have thought, oh, this guy is successful. I had the same idea. I should have done that. And by the way, I went through this whole thing where literally I used to discuss in a year almost 40 to 45 business ideas with my wife and friends. And in the end, everyone was like, I think you're foolish. You keep coming with ideas, but you never do anything about it. And this is where I had a couple of ideas which I see now are very successful, and one which I'm happy to talk about. So since I was a CA, so my thinking was always aligned to what a CA can do. So it was online tax filing. Because as a salaried guy, I used to always face issue filing tax. And then I had to hire another CA to file my tax, and the process was so cumbersome. And I ended up paying $1,000 each time without that guy doing anything for me. He was just going to income tax office and submitting papers. And this is where I was like, I should do this. So literally I was on verge of quitting, but I think I still remember it was like December 2006 or something. And then I was like, oh shit, my bonus is coming in March. I should wait for my bonus at least. So I waited, and the bonus came, and my promotion happened. And then I was like, shit, yeah, now my salary is high for 30%. Now it doesn't make sense for me. So the opportunity cost versus my salary cost is somehow not adding up. So I didn't start. And then I saw in 2008 and 9, many tax filing websites started coming in, and then they started making moves in the market. And now I can at least count a dozen odd websites which are a decent scale. And when I look back, I think I had idea much before probably others had, but I did not have courage to jump in. And this is where I feel was a big learning for me. So when I actually decided to quit in 2010, literally I quit in September 2010. So my boss called me up and he was like, why are you quitting? And so what he did is he drew out a chart for me where he said, you are at this level in the bank. And your next level is this, next level is this, and from here to here, you will reach in 12 years, which is the board level. So don't you want to reach to ICICI Bank board in 12 years? I mean, what's wrong with you? And ICICI Bank had this fast track promotion and all of that talent and some HR things, so which I was part of, in the sense I was in talent school and I was in fast track promotion list. So they were like, why are you making this mistake? You have, your name is there in everything what an ideal employee wants in terms of fast track promotion, talent pool of the bank. You always get highest increment, you always get highest bonus. Why would you do something like where you quit without even, so at that point I was not sure whether I had to pay this. But I was very sure until I get out of my comfort zone, I'm not gonna sort of probably be courageous to start something. And this is where it sort of worked out for me. Literally, I quit randomly and I came home and told my wife, who's here coincidentally, that I'm quitting today. And she was shocked first. And what's going to happen next month? How are we going to repay our EMIs? So that was the first question. And literally from there, of course, when I said that this is a 2-year thing and I want to give myself 2 years and I want to try it out. So we somehow started working and how we're going to survive for next 2 years. What happens if nothing works out in terms of funding, in terms of startup doesn't work out. So how are we going to survive our personal expenses for 2 years? So literally we took a week in working that out. And then our last resort was that hey, we have just like 4 months of savings in our account. So we still have to survive 20 more months. So we said, let's do one thing. Worst case, let's sell our house, and we sort of gonna give us a good 24 months runway after repaying all the EMI obligations. So that was the decision which we took at home, and I would say I'm thankful to my wife who supported me in that decision, because these are the moments where you actually become bravery. And these are moments where you actually start, and of course, which is rightfully so, you have to worry about your family. But you start thinking, out of too much worry, you start taking calls which may not support your instinct. So that was a big learning, that be courageous. If you believe in something, be courageous, but do idea validation for sure. What idea validation teaches you is that what are things to watch out for. May not be that what everybody is giving you feedback is right or wrong, and however the expert person may be, doesn't matter. But at least you should hear to everyone. And I think some people feel that, oh, what if I tell my idea to my friend? What if I tell my idea to my some friend of friend or some different entrepreneur? What's going to happen? I think this is, in my opinion, this is a huge myth where people feel that ideas are everything. I actually feel that ideas are nothing. It's mainly the execution skill which matters, which distinguishes one company versus another, which distinguishes one entrepreneur versus another. And this is what which distinguishes an entrepreneur versus an employee. So, and I would say execution. And this is where you have to make your execution plan foolproof. You have to make your execution plan more and more sound. And how do you do that? When you actually discuss your ideas with as many people as you can, your target segments, your future customers, your future suppliers, and you learn things, and then you know what to watch out for. So when I started, I actually went to 50 odd merchants in the country. So I went to Make My Trip, Yatra, Naya CTC, and all of those guys. And I went and met them, and I just tried understanding what is the real problem, where is the real problem, and what is the value add I'm going to bring when I'm going to start Citrus. And this is where we actually sort of learned a lot, the gap exactly, and how my first 5 customers will get acquired when I start on day 1. And this sort of really helped us keep going. That being said, not everything goes as to plan. So, when we started being a non-tech guy, again we faced huge issues in technology at the start. So literally we had to let go our first CTO within span of 2 months. So because he was just very, very casual towards his work. And so one thing which I was paranoid about which is like if I'm giving my life to this company, then I need people who are equally committed. And then I'm not going to compromise just because the other guy is casual about his work. Why should I suffer? I'm already suffering by compromising on my salary, by compromising on my family life. So I don't want to suffer. So it's better to cut the cord ASAP if the other person or your team member is not working out. And this is where my company people call me very rude and brutal, but I think it has worked. It has worked for us. And these are the few things which I would say are very, very important. Where you have to take call ASAP in terms of evaluating the situation and taking a call whenever it is required. You can't be always friendly with people where it's like chalta attitude and it's like हाँ 2 महीना और चलाते हैं 3 महीना और चलाते हैं 6 महीना और देखते हैं अगर ये चला जाएगा तो फिर क्या होगा यार then I don't have anyone. I think it's your inefficiency which you are tackling with, which is that not able to find the right person for your team, and which is what you have to address ASAP. If you are not doing that, effectively it's your inefficiency which you are addressing. So that's my one of the big learning while building up teams in the company. Then I would say, then comes to funding. So I think I would say we were lucky where our first round of funding was relatively easier and unexpectedly easier, I would say, where I really feel lucky. So we happened to meet Sequoia team and literally when we met Sequoia team, I would say it was, and Sasha is like giving a surprise since we are working with Sequoia on a couple of investment companies. So they funded us literally 48 hours. So the first time I met them, within 48 hours, the money was in the bank. So it was like, and when we moved to the board, to Sequoia India MD, he told this was one of the fastest transactions we ever did in Sequoia history in India. So I think what worked and why did it happen that way? So I didn't know when the process was happening, why it is happening this way. But then I asked Mohit after the funding, why did you go so fast in funding this transaction? Is there something which I am missing, or is there something which you are not telling me? His thing was very clear. He said, when he met me first time, and he met me in a coffee shop, by the way. So in a 5-star coffee shop where I happened to meet him accidentally. So when he met me first time, he told me, like I explained him what I want to do and what I've done so far. So and let me just tell you what I told him. So I told him that hey, this is my idea and the reason I believe in this idea is because of XYZ things. And what I've done so far is tied up with 5 banks, which is ICICI, Axis, Citi, HDFC and SBI. And right now operating from home. But I have these 5 bank contracts signed. And now I've hired a tech guy to build the technology. And he was like, hold on, how did you sign these contracts? And you don't have any salesperson, you don't have any technology, you don't have any office. Why did these banks agree to sign up with you? What is so special about you is this? And then I explained him the whole logic which I gave to banks and the whole the way I convinced banks to sign a contract with me. And then he was like, oh, if you can do this, you can definitely make a company to some extent for sure. And that was the reason where he sort of was superbly impressed. And he told me later, of course, not at the time of funding, because he was skeptical. He probably will ask more money if he raises why he's funding us. So I think that was one of the big learning where it's not always about funding. I think to reach to a funding stage as well, you have to execute. You have to show what you are capable of. You have to show some real juice on the ground. And I actually feel sad that not now probably, but in 2015, every young guy, I got gray hair now, so I say every young guy. So every young guy I was meeting in 2015, it was like some IIT 22-year-old kid, 23-year-old kid coming up, hey, I got this idea, will you give me $1 million? I got this idea, will you give me $2 million? Hey, but now getting random emails. Will you introduce me to Mohit, I need $5 million. Will you introduce me to Mohit, I need $10 million. And I'm like, what is going on? Where is this world? And why this best thing? And then when I used to throw a bid, then no, I'm IIT, so I'm going to get $5 million for sure. And so that was a thing which was happening in the ecosystem in 2015, which I would say was a very, very insane thing. And many people got swayed by that insanity which happened in 2015. And I think so. My submission there is clearly, while some of the insanities might have happened and some of the people must have felt that there is some insanity going on, so everybody should go down that path. But I think clearly what I've seen over the period is what matters most is you prove something. If you believe in your idea, go down that path. The investors also want to see whether your ability to execute things, whether your ability to carry things, ability to build teams, ability to build technology. They also want to test it out. And how do they test it out? When you actually jump into a ship, rather than just toying them with the idea, when you are already working in a corporate life and then just making a presentation just because some friend of yours felt making some presentation or some IIT guy who is a student still in 4th year and then he joined your team saying that hey, I got this campus offer but I'm ready to leave that campus offer and put my name as the co-founder, and so we've got a good team, we've got experience and got technology, and both of them are not sure what they want to do. So I think that's one big thing which I would say one need to focus on clear execution plan rather than just toying around with idea only. So that was one of my big learnings at a very, very early stage. And then I would say, I think at every stage of funding, it's not easy to get funding. And I would say it keeps getting tougher and tougher and tougher. So real experience, I'm telling you. So Series A, which was the Sequoia thing which happened, was way, way easier. And we were at cloud 90. That wow, our funding happened in 2 days. So, and Sequoia kind of a name is our investor. So when we will go for next round of funding, everyone should run after us. And and we started asking some obscure numbers in terms of funding which we wanted and the valuations we wanted. And I think after working out for 6 months, while we were having good numbers, good traction, but after working out for 6 months in terms of meeting investors, finding out what are they saying about the company, what are they saying, where we are going wrong, where we are going right, what are they liking, what are they not liking, we realized that we need to do a lot, and we need to do a lot of work in the company before we even deserve further funding. And this is where I would say we focused a lot in building right teams, building scalability in the company, which is what a work which we did. We prepared the company for at least 6 months because these are the aspects which were lacking. And we prepared the company for at least 6 months before we could actually go back to the market and fill the gaps which we had for our Series B. So, and this is how, and I would say Series B was way, way tougher for us compared to Series A. And let me say about Series C. Series C was the toughest. And where, literally, and toughest, where I actually, when I look back, now I understand why it was toughest. But at that point of time, and that was 2015, where this whole valuation going up from $1 billion to $10 million to $15 billion, or from $200 million to $5 billion. So we were also swayed by that. We were like, so our Series B valuation was $30 million, and we were like, wow, valuation has to be 10 times in this market, or the last round. And I don't publish this kind of video, but literally we went to the market asking a $300 million valuation, and which was not backed by numbers, which was not backed by true business plan. So we ourselves were skeptical about our business plan, very honestly. While we were skeptical, but we failed, and we actually got into the herd mentality where everyone else was getting this much, so why can't we? A 24-year-old IITian is getting $100 million investment, why can't we get? So, so that was our thinking, and I would say it was a huge learning for us. But one thing which we didn't get swayed was spend lots of money to acquire consumers, don't watch out your unit economics. In fact, I remember our conversation with investors where I was telling, hey, we've got this much revenue and we got this much EBITDA, margin coming up next year, and right now it's this much. So investors were like, no, don't talk about those things. You want to know how many consumers are acquiring next month, how much, what is your customer acquisition cost. So show us that, we care about that. We don't care about your unit economics numbers and all that. And we were actually literally started doubting our abilities, that whether we are operating in the right world, whether we are thinking right in terms of how we are operating the company. And then we saw all of this TV ads and the codings and the radio ads going all around us, and we were like totally colored by what was happening around us. So we actually started doubting our ability, very frankly, whether we are moving the right direction as a company. But I think some sanity was there because of the experience which we had. Because one, the DNA. So I'm a Marwari by DNA. So generally Marwaris from childhood are taught that any trade you do, you have to earn money. If you lose money, that's a trade you should avoid. So, so this is when unit economics as a concept was there in systems from day one. The second thing where we learned was that if you can't make money into something, or if you do not have plans to make money, even if you're investing today, but if you have a clear plan, not a 5-year plan, a 24-month plan, that how are you going to make money? And if you do not have a clear plan, that by the investment, how are you going to make money? I'm not sure, at least I understand that word. So while people do understand that word, people have proven that that word works outside India. Definitely people have proven. But at least personally, I don't understand that word. They continue investing for 10 years or 15 years without having the visibility. How are you going to make money and when are you going to make money? So, but so we believe strongly in that until there is visibility of making money, we are not spending insane money. And now, as we are in 2016, I would say literally, and this is what I was saying in hindsight, when I look back, I would say good that we actually did not raise money at $300 million valuation. Good that we did not go after spending hundreds of millions of dollars in consumer acquisition without knowing how we're going to make money. Because now, literally, we are in a position where whenever we talk to whether our company is well funded, so we don't need any investment at this stage. But fortunately, all those investors who we talked in 2015 are flocking to us now, where they are saying, hey, you are talking about unit economics, you are talking about how you make money, you are talking about this. So can I put money into your company? Can I put money? So now it's more like, literally I am telling you, last 6 months, it has been a queue in the office of investors who want to put money into the company. Because they have seen that what we believe in a thesis, or they have seen that what we are trying to do, and what plans we have for our investment and how do we invest return of that. They have actually liked the whole concept. But again, it's not about that we're doing everything to sway investors, we're doing everything to get funding. I think the gist is, it's very important that do what you believe in. Do what you actually want to achieve in a short or a long run. Because if you do what you don't believe in, but you get swayed by external factors more, I don't think that's a situation which can be long lasting. And I don't think so these abnormal situations last too long. So there is always equilibrium which sets in, and which is where I would say, at least I'm seeing already 2016 where the equilibrium is setting in terms of both from investor side and the funding side and the business model side, and then it's becoming more and more same. So I think these are the things I would say I can share with you at this moment. But happy to take questions.
To ask questions, can raise your hands, we'll pass around the mic.
When did you achieve breakeven?
We still haven't achieved. So, but actually probably next month or so we will achieve.
Can you talk about your story of onboarding your co-founders or the CEO after filing the first one, like the first one and after filing the first one?
So I think right now the CTO which we have is the sports guy in the last 4 years. So I think but the current guy we are very very happy, and it's sort of worked out really well. He's there in the company for the longest tenure, which is 2 years. So so that but yeah, again and you can say we are very very demanding when it comes to work, and so we are a payments business, and payments business means it's an infrastructure business, and on your business there are thousands of business depending. So if we go down even for a minute or even for a second, that means thousands of businesses are going down. So we can't afford to go down, and that's the basic thesis which people need to understand while working with our company. And this is why people miss out. Where it is very easy in payment, what happens is almost in a year, some 10 or 12 new technologies come. And people feel, wow, this technology is going to change the world. So let's just start getting into this. Let's just start the whole company, let's drive towards that. But what they forget is the basic, which is stability and reliability of the infrastructure and the technology and the scale and the whole agility around the technology. If you do not have that, it's very, very difficult to work in a payments company.
So when you were starting, right, how did you manage to develop that trust from your clients?
So what we did is, as a first step, we went with the offering which was very basic, which clients were already used to seeing. So when we started with a net banking as a payment option solution, and which clients are seeing. But what we did different was, we focused heavily on the service, because again, as I keep repeating, I was not a tech guy. So at that point in time, at least I did not know tech-wise how can we make it better. So we said what you can make better in doing the same thing is service, because that's what at least I could control, being a non-tech guy. So we focused heavily on the service, and which is their clients loved us, and they said, even if everything is equal, I would love to work with you, Dada, because the response, the service delivery is so good from your side that it sort of gives us a feeling that you understand our pain, and this is what really worked for us.
So you were the only founder when you got funded through Sequoia?
At that point of time, yes.
Okay, and you had this concept only with you and you approached?
No, so of course we had a couple of angel investors in the company, so who sort of backed us from the beginning.
I was in some past event recently, and they said we don't fund people who are single founders. So, like,
So when Sasha comes on the stage, we should ask him. So he generally avoids these questions.
so you were really inspiring, and I really request the audience to for a round of applause.
How much time do you have?
Hi, we are a startup, so like, what will the benefit normally can you get from Citrus in terms of if you integrate your payment gateway with our application? Because you already have Recharge, Paytm, and Oxygen wallet. So that is the one part. And second is I want to understand the different, very unique differentiation if I go with the Citrus.
Sure. So, first thing which I can say is we give a free payment service to startups. So, for first 6 months. Because that's the pain phase which we have gone through, and we understand the value of free when you're starting up. So, so we give it completely free. But just to sort of answer your question specifically, I think it's not about free and it's not about discount and all of that. But you asked a very interesting question. How am I different from Paytm and free charge and all of that? And I would say we are very, very different. And the reason I say so, we are a payments company. We are not just a wallet company. Wallet is one of the payment options we accept. So, so when you have, I'm sure you must be having a wallet in your back pocket, and it has cash, it has cards, it has your identity, and you use the card, debit card or credit card or cash depending on the context of the payment. So we never force anyone to load money and pay. That's not the concept we believe in.
Because our solution is a little bit unique. We provide the, my company name is Gate Park. So we provide the parking solution. So you can search your parking, you can book your parking, you can make payment your parking through one app. So parking amount is pretty less, like 20-30 rupees. So in that time, if I ask user to enter the card details rather than going to the wallet, it will take a lot of time.
I completely agree. So the guy sitting just next to you is actually, he drives the wallet business, and he can actually explain you why our wallet is better for merchants, and I'm not saying consumers, and consciously I'm saying not for consumers, because we do not give discount. Why our wallet is better for merchants as a payment solution, vis-a-vis others, he can explain to you.
Yeah. How do you suggest approaching investors outside your field?
I think I actually hate this question, very frankly. So the reason I hate this question because you know what, everyone thinks that getting a funding is the ultimate nirvana, and this is not the thing. Trust me, this is not the thing. And I would say focus on the business first, focus on building something first, and put your own money into it. If you don't put your own money, that means you are not doing justice. So investors will walk up to you if your business model is good, and actually you will be surprised to know every investor who funds at this stage, they're a team of 15 to 20 people. Their job is just one: look out for companies who have some business model to fund. Because if they do not do that, they'll be fired. Seriously. So they will reach out to you rather than you always reaching out to them. Yeah.
You said before you could approach a main funder, you were able to convince ICICI and all the other firms without a marketing guy. So like, how were you able to do that? Like, what was the logic that they all agreed to, like, you were possibly convincing them?
So I think if you read my profile, I was in investment banking. So I used my investment banking. So I actually used my investment banking. I think I will be around after the Amitabh session, which is probably a year hour later. Sorry. So we can talk in the common area after the session. Thank you.
So good evening, folks, and thank you for folks at Citrus and Rise calling me this evening. Isn't it a lovely location? Surprisingly, I haven't come before. Shocked actually, but I've been to this building hundreds of times.
We did invite you for the launch.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm extremely sorry. We'll be raising a fund to get more time. You know, we'll chase rich people like this man here. and gentlemen. I'm a VC, I only meet smart people, but not because he's in front of me, but he knows how much I respect him and what he's done. Because these are the entrepreneurs who are below the radar, building amazing companies. And it's very important for them to come and speak about it, because we hear about all the B2C companies, and those are great too, it's not like they're not. But these are the ones that are the engines of growth, real businesses. And he said next month, I guarantee you that very few B2C companies that can say next month for profit, let alone anything else. So I think that's wonderful. One more ladies and gentlemen, clap for you. So I'm happy, I learned as well. You know, I've been doing this for 20 years, so it's fantastic. I really have no idea what I'm going to say today. So they said come and some topic, I just typed something out. So maybe I'll talk a little bit about my background very quickly as well. And then of course, if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer that. So I am born and brought up right here in this great city of Mumbai. I also learned one thing from Jitendra, one more thing, that I'm actually very old. Because he said you get old between 40 and 45, but I'm 44. So I thought I was damn young then. I said, shit, okay, too late for me now. So I was born in Mumbai of course now, and studied in Bombay. I went off to boarding school, a very naughty kid. So my parents sent me off to Kodikana in South India, and I became more naughty there. It was great fun, it was a fantastic school. Anyone who has young kids think of sending them to Kodikana, it's fantastic. Because it's out in the open, it's nature, it's beautiful, you swim in lakes. There was literally leopards outside our campus, and this was in the 80s of course. It was just a beautiful experience. Global professors all around the world. Then I went off to the US, studied there as well. And then in 1996 I came back to India. My father was also a founder of the company. And I remember another story that he mentioned again about selling a flat. So in 1981, he came home one day and said, hey, we're moving. And I said, moving where? And we used to live in Malabar. And he said, where are we moving? But I'm selling the flat. I said, what? Selling the flat for what? Because he said, I'm starting a new company. And so that was how tough it was in those days. There was no capital available. So he sold the flat for 4 lakhs, and today his business is worth about $500 million. But it was a tremendous journey. I was just talking to him on the way here, coming here. It's 6:30. He's still in his office. So entrepreneurship is hard, and he can clearly retire many years back. But if you want to be in it and truly be a great entrepreneur, you can't leave it. And that's what he was doing right now at 6:30 in the evening on a Saturday. So for me to come and give a talk, nothing. You know, because at the end of the day, you really have to be an entrepreneur. It has to be 24/7. There is no work-life balance. There's only work, unfortunately. So I came back because I was the oldest. In those days, everyone joined their family business, and I joined my family business. And I was the oldest, and I worked there for several years. But I was never really happy. But it was the thing you did. But in 2002, my dad started saying, I want to professionalize my family business. He wants to put a CEO in place, get a professional board. So he got Mr. Harsh Maniwala from Marigo, some of you may have heard of him. He got Mr. Vimal Bhandari, and a bunch of other very eminent, Mr. Ranjan from WPP country head, chairman of WPP country, large advertising agency, like that, very eminent board of directors. So it was a very rare company. This was very before even Infosys did it, where we had 5 outside directors and 2 directors from the family, which my father and uncle were the 2 founders of the company. And the second generation all left. So my 2 cousins went to Wharton. My brother went to Flextronics in California, and he became an engineer there. Not engineer, sorry, he was head of one of their departments, a $200 million department. He ran from scratch. My cousin went to Wharton. One cousin today runs a $300 million hedge fund called Malabar Capital, and my cousin Aisha works at Goldman Sachs. I left the business and I did 2 startups that were funded by my family. One was mostly very young, but there was BPO, call centers. So I got it very opportunistically. What's going to start a business? And I'll talk about that if anyone wants to talk about that. It's just someone said, hey, call centers are great, and we said, let's do it. Literally that. And we started the company. And sure enough, within the first year, we realized we were screwed because it was way too late. There were too many call centers. There were literally thousands of seats. We had a measly 100-seat center in Malad. And it was crazy work. We used to work 16 hours a day. Not 12, not 13, 16. We go in the morning, and at 4 o'clock in the morning, doing a quality review or doing some CRM stuff. But it was just damn tough business. Now, what we managed to do eventually was pivot the business and move into healthcare, which saved us, and eventually sold that company in 2016. The second company I started was a spin-off. So we took this from our parent company is into electronics, and we spun the service part of this business out. And we said we would service multiple brands, not just the parent brand. That company is still going strong today. It has about 1,500 people, and we service multiple companies across the country. It's probably the largest third-party service provider in India today. And that's run again by a professional CEO. who now reports to my father now, because I obviously left that company. Then in 2007, ladies and gentlemen, I left everything and I actually became a professional, which is opposite of what most people do. Most people who have a business of their own, they work outside for a few years, get some experience, and then go and join their family business. So I was completely the opposite. 10 years later, I went and joined a private equity fund called Nokia Ventures. Nokia is a very strong brand, like Apple is today, some of the older people in this room will appreciate. So I became country head of Nokia Ventures, which eventually changed the brand to Blue Run Ventures. We did lots of great investments around the planet, like eBay, like PayPal, in the UK, we have a mapping company called Waze. We sold $1 billion to Google. In India, we did a company called Dia Energy. We put in $120 million into that company. Of course, we only put 15, but we led that investment. And we did a company called Zamanda. We did a whole bunch of interesting companies. So I was there for about 5.5 years, till about 2011 end. So I had 3 blocks, ladies and gentlemen. Family business. Second was I actually did some startup and ran operating experience. And of course, the last was working in a private equity / venture capital fund. So why am I here today talking to you? I actually have a parallel career. And that parallel career, ladies and gentlemen, started for greed. Again, wrong way to start a business, obviously, right? I was just a young guy like a lot of you in this room, and I was working in my family business in those days. And I remember telling my father, and he always has been, and he was a very hyper-focused businessman, saying, hey, Dad, give me $500,000. He said, no way, because I want to invest in the young Amitabh team. It was a dot-com, if you remember the dot-com era. And I was just greedy, and I thought I want to make a lot of money in this company. So somehow, it's a long story, it's actually a separate talk on how I got this money out of it, which is damn tough. It took me about 6 months to get this money out of it. But he finally gave me $500,000, and we invested into this company. And sure enough, in 3 months, I realized, God, I'm dead. This company is dying. It wasn't the fault of the entrepreneurs, they were outstanding. It was just the idea was just the time was wrong, and you guys appreciate it. So I said, look, I better stop this, because if I don't, this money is going to be finished, like really fast, and I'm dead. So I went up to the entrepreneurs, they appreciated where I came from, and we stopped. The best thing we actually did was actually stop. We didn't say, we figured it out and we'll do it later. Now we call it pivot, and everyone knows what pivot is, obviously. But we didn't know what pivot meant in those days. So we stopped. We just go get some ideas. And the founding team, like Jitendra, had a background in financial services. So they came up with data analytics. Now, data analytics, ladies and gentlemen, in 2002 is science fiction. It's really early. But we said, let's start. So we started. And within about 2-3 months of recapitalizing the company, is when I told you my father was the new board of directors, like Mr. Mariwala, etc. They said, hold on. They made me make a presentation to the board and said, you are an electronics company and you're investing in a data analytics company. Where's the synergy? Today you have something called IoT. So I could have made a brilliant IoT presentation, but that was 15 years early. Obviously, way too early. So we said, okay, give up. We'll take this company out and we'll figure it out. So I went to my VC friends. And there were not even 5 VCs in India in 2002, as most of you will know. And they said, look, Sasha, this is seed and angel capital. I said, what the heck is seed and angel capital? What does that mean? What is angel? It makes no sense. But okay, I understood what it meant. So I formed a small fund with my own money, which I had a very limited amount of, and I bought the shares of this company from the public company. And this became, ladies and gentlemen, my first investment in my life. This is around 2002. So between 2002 and 2004, I made a few more investments and made one small exit as well. But as I told you earlier, I was now operating as CEO of 2 operating companies. So I had no time to make fresh investments. I didn't even have enough money anyway. So I stopped. I said between 2002 and 2004, whatever I have, I've done. So 2006, middle, right at the time I was transitioning from all my businesses to become a professional and join Nokia Ventures, me and my best buddy Mirchandani were having a cup of coffee. And we wanted to join a small angel club. We said, we have some small money, so we can write some small checks. Let's just join one which is next to our house. So I remember going home in the evening to check the web, and I was surprised. I didn't find anything. Forget Bombay, but nothing in India. So again, I checked the next day on the web, and sure enough, there was nothing. So that's how we created this network called Mumbai Angels. It started very small. So today we have about, I think about 250 members. Mr. Narayan maybe start Bangalore Angels. Narayan from Infosys, we started Bangalore Angels, we got Delhi Angels. It's all non-profit. So I feel that's probably the best thing I've done in my life because we never made anything out of it, never made a dime. 250 odd members, but more importantly 80 investments done, about $50 million of money into the system, and hundreds of millions of dollars of funds raised for these companies, and 18 exits already, money in the bank. And I think the story of we did this for two reasons. Well, not because of the fact that we really wanted to make more money, but when I saw my father and 81 struggling to a capital and wanted to sell his house, there was 81, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm talking about 2006, and the funding environment was still so difficult. And he talked about how difficult it was for him as well. So I realized that this is ridiculous. It's not a situation where just because you're born rich, you get a chance to raise capital to start a company. Everyone's got a chance. And it's so simple. And now everyone knows how much money is in the market. So that's a fantastic thing between 2006 and 2016 as to what's happened in the world.
But I know these guys are really keen to know few questions from you. They are waiting. So, what do you look in a company when you invest?
We look at all the standard stuff, which everyone knows, which is of course big team, large markets. I won't get into that, but that's obvious. Everyone knows that, right? Every VC you met is going to do the same thing. But we actually now, after we've done this for so many years, we actually have a grid of what we look for. And I won't talk about the entire grid because it's boring, because it's a detailed grid. And if we don't match at least 80 or 90% of that grid, we will not make the investment. But the number one thing we look for, which is very, very difficult, it's the most difficult thing to actually do, which is a work in progress for us as well, because the question we ask around that, is actually the number one determinant of success is determination. So we look for determined people. When I funded, I think he ran an example, Mitra, Mukesh. When he came to me, I was exactly impersonate like this here, man, soft spoken, no bullshit, just to the bloody point. I said, wow, what an awesome entrepreneur. And I hated his idea of what he wanted to do, but I just said, I want to fund this guy. But he was again, someone asked for a single founder, he was a single founder. And I said, hey, Mukesh, I think we need a team around you. He said, okay, I'll take your feedback, I'll get back to you. Then he disappeared. 6 months later, he phoned me, he said, remember me? I said, of course I remember you. You were upset, yeah, come, let's have a coffee. He comes the whole founding team, and comes with the same idea though. But the reason we funded was because of the fact that our diligence showed that when he puts his mind to it, Mukesh once it gets it done. And we ended up funding Mitra, which everyone knows in this room was a phenomenal success. And he actually ended up pivoting, of course, to what is the eventual model of clothing line that he built out.
And generally, what are the reasons? So, actually, you mentioned what are the reasons to fund. And I'm just reversing the question. Which are the reasons where you definitely do not fund? I just want to give those reasons to these guys so they're not running into wrong direction.
I think opportunistic people, like Jitendra mentioned, if you noticed last year when the market crashed, a lot of the opportunistic founders all disappeared, got flushed out. So the founders were still here. Like I was having dinner with one of my founders in companies. And I won't mention them, I won't mention them. Boss, why don't you give up? I was just testing it. So get it, yeah, solo, yeah. And he's obviously very, very bright, he doesn't go anywhere. And he's really struggling to raise his second round of capital after we gave him the first $1 million. And I can give him a job like this. And he's a boss, no chance. No, and he didn't offers from all the top, the 4 large companies that are given offers. Believe me, I also don't have that much money in the bank to show how much you will get by selling. It is a relatively small amount because he wants to reach out to the company. You make literally millions of dollars, literally tomorrow morning. The founders of those companies all phone me multiple times and say, boss, you want to buy this company? He doesn't want to sell. He wants to build it up. Sometimes life is also stubbornness and persistence, so there will be fine line there as well. So don't, only you know that. He knew that he would get this done, so it was persistence. And even in Series B or A or whenever he struggled, even as founders. But sometimes it's also a little bit of stubbornness. In this case, this founder is extremely persistent, and we love that.
Sure, thank you. The next question would be, so has it ever happened where, let's say, a founder or a team of founders meet you, and for whatever reason you were not convinced at the first meeting, and then you still ended up funding them? So the reason I'm asking this question is a specific reason. Because what I've seen is, and it's that when you actually get rejection from a VC specifically, you sort of tend to feel that, oh, probably your idea has some flaw, or probably you're doing something wrong, or you're not moving in the right direction. And they then tend to get so much disappointed that they feel this is the end of the world. So this is where I'm asking you, that has it ever happened where you still funded those people when at the first go you said no?
Yeah, there are many examples. But the best example I think of is one of our companies, UpStart. So we met Prashant and Samir multiple times. At one point, this is a guy who went to Stanford and they went to Harvard. They were in their early 30s. They obviously had made money, but they needed to make much more. But they're almost given up, but they wanted to do an NGO type thing business as well. So I was like, serious, like, what's kept of it? But they were at it. Because literally a few weeks after this, no, we're back to a new idea. And they were at it. And today, we ended up funding them. They've raised multiple rounds of capital, even in this market of 2016. Tough market. They're split into two separate companies, one MG and UpStart. Both the companies have raised 100 crores each in this market. So it's a phenomenal achievement. Both of them.
That's actually very interesting insight, because this is the insight which I actually wanted people to have it, that it's not end of the world if a VC is saying no for your idea. I mean, that may be no because of his situation, or because he at that point may not be convinced with your idea. But that doesn't mean that your idea is not good. That doesn't mean, no offense, that probably that VC is the most intelligent to validate your idea at that point of time. So, very important learning. Next is, I was thinking what would be more interesting question. Yeah, sure.
How important is business plan? Because most of the startups start from funding point of view. They invest most of their time making business plan rather than focusing on the business. But I run a business which is into renting Lego sets. Legos are being very expensive. The strategy of renting Lego sets, I put it as a registered customer and actually don't have a business plan in place. The monthly revenue is 50K. Like last month I registered revenue of 15K. I called once Mumbai Indians. The reason to ask I called Mumbai Indians once, how can we go ahead? So you want me to have a business plan in place. But I don't have business plan, I am running execution model which I can perform, I can show figures, tracks. No sir, you need to have a business plan in place, then only you can approach us. So I mean, we have a running model, we have facts and figures, we have revenue, we have registered customer. So how far a business plan is more important rather than you can demonstrate a live model in front of VCs or Indian investors.
It frankly totally depends on who the entrepreneur is. But the business plan, at least for us, is maybe for the first year, maybe if you put a plan and get the assumptions as how you as the entrepreneur is thinking of the business. So once we understand that the assumption thinking through makes sense, that's the key of a business plan. After that, it's all put away, because then we end up, hopefully, we end up funding your company. And then we look at it actually year to year. We don't make a 3-year plan of it. It's impossible to know what's going to happen in a startup 3 years from now. Please, year to year, we do it. I only look at it month to month almost. Because let's be practical, because most business plans don't go anywhere. 99% of the companies have funded at least the first 2-3 years have never hit business plan. In fact, most of them have pivoted or figured out their strategies or gone slow. So at the end of the day, it's all about the founder. And if you see this is the plan, you be at it. A lot of times it pivots, but even in a good business like this, where there was no pivot, you just have to be at it. I'm sure you must have missed many plans, but it's no big deal.
But one thing which I'll add is, while business plan is not the only thing in making a business, but if you are, let's say, approaching a VC or a angel fund or a so-called for funding, I mean, how are you going to convince him? I mean, you are selling a dream, and if you are selling a dream, you need to know how that dream will unfold, and you need to tell how dream will unfold. And if you don't tell that, saying that, hey, I'm watching some TV, you watch about the dream. This is not
I think that's very well put. I mean, it's
We have an Excel sheet, but we don't have like a proper business plan. We have a forecast. 40-page business plan.
Rather than give you money, actually this plan. So, if you have professional proper funds, like a small fund like K, it's not our money. So we have to do it in a more systematic manner. So I think rightly said, you articulated it much better. Okay? It's that dream, you please show me the path. And it doesn't take that long to put it together.
Yeah, I mean, you're not doing your part of the job. How can you expect a VC to do his job for you?
It's your vision that you're funding, right? So at least put it down. How difficult is that?
Sasha, is there any investment theme which you really liked in, and that's for 2016 specifically? The reason I'm asking you because I think probably most of these guys are either planning to start in 2016 or probably are on their journey. So I just want to make their life easier. So is there any specific theme which you're very excited about in 2016?
You know, to be honest, like I keep telling everyone, India is such an early stage. And our business is all about themes. The constant theme. If you look at 2015, I can think of 4 or 5 particular themes that got funded between the beginning of the year and the end of the year. So what we do is, because nowadays things have gone so slow, me and my colleagues are constantly putting together themes. In fact, if you come to our office tomorrow, sorry, day after, you'll see that we're presenting 5 more themes. But at the end of the day, yeah, sure, we'll go after those themes. I can mention some of those themes that we want to go after. But really, it's all put in the best basket if we find a really good entrepreneur and a great idea at the end of the day. The point being that there's no better time to start a company than now. It's much more difficult, but like I said, the best founders come now. Always, the best time to start for you is now, because what happens, ladies and gentlemen, is the company is born in frugality. What does that mean? You realize the boss, the paisa itna jaldi nahi milne wala hai. Those days are gone. So you know, $1 million, you drag it out of a venture capitalist or an angel or your family or anyone else, let alone $5 million or $100 million, right? So these companies are built around that mindset. And I don't tell them the cost, cut cost, do it, they do it themselves. So to give you an example of that first investment I made in data analytics, right? Some of you remember I said 2002. I only gave them $500,000, remember? And with that measly $500,000 of mine, they took it all the way to 2 years back, raised $25 million, and this year, in this very, very tough market, raised $100 million, which is phenomenal in this market. It's the largest deal in India this year. Analytics is a company. They have 1,000
very credible company.
They moved from a .com, and I'm sure some of you may have heard of this company. What a phenomenal achievement by those founders. Also, determination, very, very determined, as I said earlier, because one founder left, the second left, the third left, but the 2 stayed back. Because the opportunity cost they lost, ladies and gentlemen. They both IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Delhi. All their peers who are now making $1 million salaries, traveling business class, having good lives around the world as investment bankers or other big shots. These guys are sitting in small offices in Sakinaka, Hawaii, etc. And not for a reasonable time, for a very large amount of time. So every time and they got multiple offers ladies and gentlemen to sell for reasonable amounts of money. Everyone wanted to be rich over the years, 2005, 8, 10. But Srikant and Mane, oh, Sasha, I want to build this business. And I'm like, okay, with these guys, I'm not going anywhere. I'm here. And to their credit, when the market slowed down, the private equity literally chased them. And we said, okay, let's just do the thing now.
Very, very interesting insight. So Sasha, we'll leave the session open for these guys, but how do these guys reach out to you?
Yes, it's all there.
There is a generic email ID where people can reach out to K Capital considering, and really I'm actually a great admirer of your fund and you in person. The reason I'm saying so, I don't think this angel as a concept which you introduced in India was even existing. And the reason 2014 or 13 or 15, almost like, if I'm not wrong, more than 3 to 3,500 companies got funded by angels and VCs and all of that. And this could happen only because there was an infrastructure to do that. And I would say you were the one who saw that, or you seeded that infrastructure. So clearly I'm a great admirer for you because you set up that whole platform for people to access the capital, which was generally not available till then. And this is why talking now I think back, why in 2006 I was not so courageous enough to start because I didn't even know if there is a platform where if I need 50 lakh rupees I can raise it from. So clearly hats off to you. But again, you need to tell them how to teach their nature to you.
No, it's actually very easy. People go on LinkedIn or whatever. People write to me on LinkedIn. The best way to actually is, to be honest, I always tell entrepreneurs, is go through a strong reference. If he writes me an email, I take action that week. suddenly magically my schedule gets opened up. So it's incredible. You may be outstanding individual and you're writing to me, but the clutter is so high that literally it's like a flow of emails that if I'm on a holiday, if I don't start doing emails all day, I'm not saying me, any VC, right? You just collapse and you miss 2 days and the game's over. Then that many emails coming through our network. And 99% are nonsensical emails coming through, but I answer every mail. So my recommendation strongly is please come to a reference. It's always best. It's not the only way, but if you can, and a strong reference. That's always the easiest way.
Whatever it is.
How do people get to you?
Yeah, I was just going to say that. But anyway, let's sort of have some open questions for you. And but we have, how much time you've got? 5 minutes. We have 5 minutes where you can ask questions in that 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you fund founders who are already involved in the operations of their old company and planning to start a new one?
You mean they're still working somewhere else?
No. They are entrepreneurs only. They are running a company since say 4-5 years, and they want to build a product and they start a new product. So probably they might be involved in the operations of 2 companies.
I strong believer in only one thing. Right? Like my father has so many businesses. I'm not on the board of any of these companies. I don't know where they exist. I can go into the factory and thrown out. So it has to be laser focused. I only run K Capital. That's it. I'm not on the board of anything else. Only K Capital in my life.
It's very interesting thing which you told Sasha, because I remember in 2010, my boss told me, hey, if you want to start on your own, so let me give you an option where you start your company and ICICI HR will give you leave of working here while you start your own company as well. And I think that was a time where I was confused and I heard, wow, bank is making some exception for me. But then I realized this is again a disaster situation for me. That I am actually not focused on what I want to do. And one of the regulations I had was that I cannot sail in 2 boats at a time. I have to sail only in 1 boat, and I have to sail through all the storms which come through that boat. So that was very, very key thing which worked out well.
Sorry? One related question, what Jitendra just explained. So many people think they will be working and nowadays they must have bad. So, but they might be having a very good idea. Okay? So, in that case, when you invest in good idea, they want to go in some more field and they are ready and then they want to quit and they will start, but before that they need some money.
It's very much the next question, right? Is it clear? Hello? Yeah, it's very much chicken and egg question, right? Like chicken said about you have to be ready. And when you're ready means full on, out, at it. Like my father's example. So I give example in real life, not textbook. So my father sold his house. So he sold the house and he started his company. And he could have said, okay, I'm going to be working there for a while and figure it out. And rightfully so, everyone has to pay their bills, right? But he took that sacrifice for a couple of years. And it was worth it for him. His money is his, my money is mine. But for him, he's a rich man today. And but he deserves every time because he took those sacrifices at that time. Like he did, he had 4 months away, I heard his story, right? 4 months is nothing. They can go like this. Because in 4 months, what plan can you come up with and start a business and stuff? But he still did it, and that's why today he's on the stage giving this talk. So it's important to jump into the pool. Life is all about, like today I want to my daughters to swim. The pool is raining like mad. I said, jump in, man. What the hell is this? Putting your legs in the water and just paddling. And they swam full on. Last time my daughter was teaching me, and that's why I'm a trained swimmer. That's life. It's only in the water.
Thank you very much for the insights. Well, we left the topic wherein you were covering the schemes which were interested in 2016. Most people were like 4 startups and a couple of startups that came up. So what are you thinking about 2016? What is the main thing that you're looking for?
The reason I haven't answered,
Let us update.
the reason you can answer and you asked, well, I haven't answered. Genuinely, I feel, though
my colleagues and me did 5 themes 2 months back. We're going to present 5 themes of hard work where we want people like him and taking data and answer this Monday. We'll have 10 themes, right? But it doesn't matter. It just keeps us ready to say in this particular category, do we want to play or not play? So I could actually tell you what I would not do, also what I would do, because most of it we will do. The point is not being opportunistic. India is so early in its evolution that it's very difficult for us to say what we will not do. Let's take an example of citrus pay again. As you rightly said, they were already existing large players. Then most people say, why would we fund citrus pay? So what theme is that for me? Suppose he met me now if he was 10 years younger or 5 years younger. Now you tell me, would I say payments? Probably not, because payments is looking old. But clearly at that point, boy met him and realized there's no way, this is a better way to do it. So data tells you, ladies and gentlemen, that actually a lot of companies that will be 7th, 8th also can actually become large, phenomenal companies in citrus. Because the entrepreneur has gone through a value prop that was missing in the market. And he or she has gone and addressed it with the consumer. What was the consumer with? The consumer is always the king. And if he or she said, boss, I want this, they will pay for citrus and the X, Y, Z companies out. So it's never too late. But when later you go, the more difficult it becomes as well. If you had done it 5 years back, it would be easier.
Yeah, I would say the same idea starting today. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's way tougher than. So we had gaps which were existing 5 years back. Of course, the inefficiencies are way different today. So one has to identify those inefficiencies which sort of are there today in payments, and then go after that. Then probably there is an opportunity. But if you say I will copy XYZ model and do something, I doubt there's any more sustainable and scalable model.
So one thing we're looking at, which I can say, which is not traditional in our firm, is we're looking at about 10% of the firm being non-tech. So I was just telling you guys in the lift that we're actually going to do a nutrition with this company. And we're going to do I said complicated thing, we can explain it later. And we're also going to do some non-tech, like let's say Hector Beverage. So some of you have dropped this fantastic company. So companies like that, juice makers, coffee machine makers, the consumer, the consumption story is not even started in this country. We're seeing some outstanding entrepreneurs. So in Fund 1, we didn't do those. So in Fund 2, we're going to take a small part of the fund and do those categories. We're very excited about that. We haven't done anything yet, but we're looking at a lot of transactions for opportunities in that category.
Hello sir, good evening sir. So basically I am third year student of IT Mumbai and currently I am running a startup from last 3 months. It's called Builderma, and we are a startup, and we are converting our main USP, they are converting books into animated videos. So how difficult it will be for to get funded and for us and
well, I'm not a person who believes in stereotype or in a rule. There is no rule in life. So how difficult or easy is up to you. Whether you're third year school is maybe the most difficult to get funded now compared to 2015. Was someone with domain expertise, B2B, that's the flavor of what is the reality right now. People who have experience will become a factor. But that doesn't mean that you give up. Because it doesn't mean that everybody who comes out of IT right now is just putting out an idea. Maybe your idea is outstanding. And you prove it to someone like me or anyone you go to, that this is the idea, and believe me, that this is what I want to do. And if you have a proper plan, never too early or too late. I would always recommend that finish your education first, because you're in third year. I'm not in the camp of Peter Thiel saying get out, because if you can finish, it's always better, right? Because God forbid is a backup. I'm not talking to you per se, I'm saying to anyone. It's good, I mean, you're an IIT student, that's phenomenal. You have the brains for IIT, God gave you the brains. Finish it off, man. And you can always go start up later. You have to start, no one will stop you, no one will stop Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates. You all know those stories, right? And if a foolish person is telling Bill Gates not to start, I mean, what the hell? But the reality is, most people don't become Bill Gates. So my advice more as a folio person, as I tell my own kids, is please graduate karo. Let's do whatever you want.
So, do I have to drop out for this idea? I want to
That shows your commitment at the end of the day, right? I mean, see, look, I did whatever I could. I talked to him for 6 months. What's your name again? Nikhil. But he just didn't leave me and you know what? I think this is an amazing idea. I love this entrepreneur. You get the money, why not? I don't see the reason why not. It's your desire. Life is only about desire.
It's
But basically, if I were you, seriously, what I would do at least, if I had a situation, I would actually finish my course and meantime also scale up the idea, because you have the luxury of living on a very, very low expense today when you're finishing your course, and you scale your idea to some extent. So when you actually graduate, then you are fully in it.
That's right. Yeah, so always better idea. You do that, then the idea over the next year or two, you finish. Yes, sir.
Last year, October, I met one of your analysts, the manager in IMC, Indian Merchants Chamber.
Must be me only here. I will IMC all the time.
I don't think there was someone else. So they rejected our pitch, saying we are an ad tech company, saying that we cannot get any partners, media giants on board. So 1 year has passed almost, and we have around 37 newspapers on board, and we are not basically looking into social media because none of the social media companies will make money in coming 3 years. So we have pivoted our total business plan. And now when I'm trying to get in touch with you people, I'm not able to reach you. So that's the main problem. And we have around 4,000 users and attracts revenue of 1.5 crores. So
my point is, the market in general is very tough right now. But if you have something real, there's a lot of money.
Because I don't have any reference as such. I have been supported by NASCOM recently. And
so like to the question that you can ask about getting in front of us, right? Not everyone knows someone that knows the VC, but you have to find a way. That's life. Like when I was getting my funds across the planet, many people believe me that, like I remember meeting this guy called Eric Lux. Eric Lux was from Luxembourg, he's Ambani of Luxembourg. He's so low-key that even the local people in Luxembourg don't know him. But I found a way to meet him. To give you a random example. That's life. I knew that he was critical for me to give capital for one of my funds. So that's life. Like I remember meeting the founder, another founder of Infosys. I just read in the papers that he's giving a talk. I showed up in Chennai and I met him at 8 o'clock, so I went at 6 o'clock in the morning, at 8 a.m. I was there. I said, sir, here's my card, I'd like to meet you. One thing to another, now he's investing in my funds. Correct? So it's not that difficult to meet people like me, it's very easy. I'm not saying that everyone answers every mail, but there's literally hundreds of VCs now in the ecosystem, angel clubs, angels, and if you're doing this well, you're saying, like you rightly said, the analysts should be chasing you. So these guys who are not chasing you are crazy if the company is doing their well. By now you've got multiple phone calls, and if it's doing as well as you say, you should soon expect calls. If you not take capital, somebody else will call you, right?
Definitely. I mean, trust me, especially
I've met a few investors, but later on we found that they are not having a good pocket. They don't have a big pocket. So
this is why they have $1 million.
No, I cannot be as lucky as them. So yeah, that's what I
make your own lucky. That's right. We talk offline.
Hi Jitendra, hi Sasha. Like most of my friends ask here, how do we reach you, how do we reach you? As a VC, do you see anything like Shark Tank coming soon in India?
It's already coming. I think some people, I can't talk about it, but it is coming. Indians are opportunistic. We've seen how good Shark Tank is. Even my great daughters, who only make video games and rubbish stuff, every night we watch Shark Tank. 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, I have to make it home at 9. They want to watch Shark Tank. It's amazing how silly questions and stuff like that is actually helping them evolve into kiki. And then they ask me all types of questions. They actually came with me to my office for the first time in their lives this holiday, thanks to Shark Tank. Amazing thing. And they were sitting quietly in pitches where entrepreneurs are pitching. And then they would drill me later and ask me, Sasha, Papa, what do you think, this, that. So it's great. I know it's fun stuff, but good for the ecosystem in my opinion. So it will come, yes.
The other gentleman, this will be the last question, but because we have Amitabh session and we just want to be on time for all our sessions.
As just one suggestion, as you pointed out, there would be interaction session after this. So
yeah, so we'll have actions for that. Please feel free to ask. Like,
as he asked, like he is like working in some company and he want to start something and we want to get funded. Ours is a situation wherein we are 5. 3 of us are full time. I am an entrepreneur for past 8 years. Okay. And there are 2 people, one is in Delhi and one is in London. They are working in some company. So how is our situation different than them?
Suppose,
like few individuals who are working in companies.
so I won't compare, it's not fair to compare people because everyone is different and different circumstances, life, and in 30 seconds I can't. But I would say, what do you want me out of it? In the sense that 3 working is good, not bad. Are you talking about a situation where you're looking to raise capital and then you're coming to me?
The chances.
Are you the CEO? How you put that?
Right now it's not in paper, but yeah, I am the CEO.
You see this right there, we have got community discussions over the last 15 years, so we have a separate discussion. But yeah, presume you're the CEO and you're full time, and you have 3 co-founders. I think that's not bad. Unless the situation comes along where somebody says, hold on, those 2 other guys are actually the key guys in the company, why are they not in the company? That's a different discussion by itself. If that's not the case, then if you have a good business, I'm sure people will look at it very seriously. Yeah, you go to that.
I have a bigger question than sorry, that if those 2 guys are key guys, why are, or not key guys, why are they in the company?
I was going to say that. I would eliminate them immediately. To get to track, they're hanging around. I don't like them hanging around. Like I said, I'm a swimming pool style. What the hell are they doing? And it's dangerous, in fact, if they are the key guys, because then there will no chance for it. And it happens to me all the time. With a lot of my very senior friends who are earning 4-5 crores a year, is a name most of you would know. They all want to be entrepreneurs. They come up with fantastic ideas. They come and meet me in the secret room where they can't be seen anywhere else. I'm excited, they're excited. And then they say, oh, he'll be the CEO. And I'm like, what? What about you're the guy? And then they make guide Terika. I said, boss, I'm funding you here. You get out, I'll fund you tomorrow. Today. Like you said, 48 hour checks, that caliber of person. But they don't have the guts to do it. I can't do it there. Because it's their idea, their vision. He said, either leaving ICICI or not leaving it. And he passes it from Papu and says, super late, and I'll guide you. It's very different from him running the company. He can be an angel investor in there, that's different. But his own company, he has to do it. And I would generally decide only when he comes to it, nobody else. Right, thank you.
Thank you, Sasha.
Over Amitabh, Amitabh is going to talk about why funding is not a business model.
Right, thank you. How many people watch Shark Tank here? How many people know Mark Cuban? So that's this lovely little differentiator, right? Entrepreneur versus entrepreneur. Okay, I'm not going to take this further than that, but we exist in an ecosystem, right? And a lot of what I was intending to say today has been covered by Jitendra and Sasha, but we've been getting a lot of questions. What if? What if few of us are still working? Look, either you're working or you're not. Either you jumped or you haven't. Either you started or you haven't. There are no safety nets in this business. And that's the first thing I want to start with. And Sasha wanted to start something. He quit. When he wanted his first venture, you put in your own money, you said, right? And that's the first test. Ultimately, you will do business with somebody else's money. But you can't do business, you cannot start a business on somebody else's money. Last 3-4 years, we've had a virtual explosion of entrepreneurship in this country. Somebody asked a very good question, Sasha answered that. What kind of entrepreneurs wouldn't you want? I don't know how many of you track the fashions in the entrepreneurship space. So I did this at one of the conferences about 5-6 months back. Now I'm not a VC. I'm not a rich guy like you. but I still manage to go through maybe 50 plans a month. So I actually sat down and I crunched some numbers. And in the conference I could stand there and say, you know, September was spa and salon aggregation, 29 plans. October was logistics aggregation, 27 plans. November was healthcare aggregation, 44 plans. Let's understand one thing. There are businesses, there are markets. In entrepreneurship, there are no fashions. Somehow or the other, we build ourselves into a frenzy where we feel that an idea, just because we have it, should be funded by somebody with money. Let's cut some basic numbers. 7 billion souls on the planet. Trust me. Take out the kids, take out the 80 pluses, we're still left with around 4.5 billion. Nobody is born an idiot. On an average, a human being has an idea a day. There are guys who probably have an idea for breakfast, one for lunch, one for dinner. There are some who do IT and snacks as well. Ideas are not businesses. What we tend to do, and I'm sorry, I'm being very brutal, that's the way I am. If you do a one-on-one with me, that's the way I will be. When I talk to an audience, that's the way I am. We work ourselves into a frenzy. Jobs are no longer good enough. Everybody must be an entrepreneur, or at somebody else's cost. I'm sorry. During what part of all the education that we went through did somebody tell us that the world knows us a little? It doesn't. Now, I heard a question here, and I'm not saying this specifically because of you. But the question was, how important is a business plan? What do we understand from a business plan? It is not a crunched Excel. I'm sorry, it's not a PPT. What investors want to know is what is the business that you are going to do and how. And I think if you're too lazy to invest some hours into helping an outsider who does not have your vision understand what you are going to do with your business, why on earth do you expect them to be interested? Our expectations from the ecosystem has just gone all over the damn place. I have an idea, why can I not get funded? No, sorry, no. The startup ecosystem may be different, but the fundamentals of business don't change. Just because a guy has money, whether he's an individual investor, he's an institutional investor, own money, somebody else's money, there has to be some justification for why they ought to give it to you. There's no charity, there's no social work here. Equity investors are, in my mind, akin to the guys who sit at the Hong Kong and Las Vegas tables. They will take a punt. They will not throw their money away. They will play the odds. They play long odds. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they miss. But it's not that the money is lying there for play. Somewhere, as an entrepreneurial ecosystem, we are losing sight of the fact that businesses need to have one single motive: taking money. Everything else we do is a spin-off. The moment we lose sight of that, we slide into all kinds of other stuff. I have a great idea, I have this, I have that. Stop for a moment before you start thinking about your idea as a business. And figure out for yourself, is this going to make money for me and for the person who invested in it? Or am I just thinking that I will start this, somebody will give me X amount of money, it will give me 6 months of runway, I will go there, somebody else will give me some more amounts of money, till I raise, till I become a unicorn. And I still don't know how to make money. So yes, we've seen some ridiculous stories. Especially over the last 5 years, we've seen some absolutely mind-blowing, crappy stuff. We've seen businesses being funded that have no business being funded. That's okay. There is a call that guys' money have taken. It is neither precedent nor does it make it incumbent on them to do it again. We are all entitled to mistakes. What I wanted to address here today was as entrepreneurs, a lot of us spend so much time going after the money. Time that should be dedicated to building a business. Now, he said he's 44, around the same age. My first money came in 1999. And as I was saying, at that time, nobody really understood this whole venture funding, risk, equity kind of concept. And we were a bunch of guys who had something, went to Chase Manhattan and said, we want $400,000. Chase talked to us for a month and you guys are idiots, we need at least $1 million. And they gave us $1 million. 1999. That ecosystem no longer exists. We're in a black market. 16, 17 years down the road, they are expected to be a lot smarter. They are expected to have done some level of homework. At the very start, when people was kicking off the sessions, he said people need funds for specific needs. We need funds for teams, we need funds for infrastructure, we need funds to scale. There has to be a point in time when that need occurs. You cannot say that, I need a 20% team now before I pick up something. Somewhere we have to go back to understand it. The first criterion that anybody will assess, anybody will evaluate is, can you make money? Do you know how you are going to make money? Let's not even go to how much money you are going to make. But is there a plan? We've all heard of pivots, we've watched companies pivot. That happens in business. Till the time you pivot, were you following the plan? I recently had an IMC grad, 9 years under the belt. Tell me, have anybody figured out cutting? I'm not usually left speechless. I admit I was. Businesses don't exist on hope. Businesses don't exist on theory. Businesses don't exist on paper. Revenues are not dragged the Excel row. They don't know what that is. Accessibility, understanding. Often enough, we walk up to other people to discuss businesses that we want to do, but we don't understand. How does that work? How is that ever going to work? When Sasha told me that I should speak here, they gave me a topic of alternate sources of funding. And I said, that's done to death. Everybody has a computer, everybody has the internet, everybody has Google. Probably you guys can tell me more about alternate sources of funding than I can. Because, how much of your time are you spending on a daily basis figuring out where and how you can get money? How many people in this room who are actually currently looking for funds? But I see some hands. How many people in the room are looking to get funded? Okay, let's start with it. How much time on an average in a day are you spending looking for sources of funds, reaching out to VCs, reaching out to angels, talking to people? How much of your time is going there?
Right now, not looking much. And right now, not spending much time. But yeah, now started 5% of my time, let's say, in a week.
That has to be a very great story. Anyone else looking for funds? People who are actively reaching out? Yes.
4 hours a day. 4 hours a day.
4 hours a day. How many working hours in a day do you have as an entrepreneur?
Almost 14 hours.
Let's say 16. I like 16. 25% of your time unproductively wasted. 25% every single day. Why?
So to build a better business model.
What did Sasha say?
So,
you're good enough, I'll come after you.
Yeah, true, but before that, like once we started, it's 2 years back. So I was working that time. So then we started pitching into more people. There was a better business model which was coming in. How to get money. Or there was a product, there was something in which has a market potential. But when we started to pitch into investors, they give us another perspective of it. There was a change. Like if you are with people who are doing business, if you are with clients, there is one way of looking at it. If you want to see the other way of looking at it, we have to go to the investors. They have a different way of looking at it, altogether from the business aspect.
25% of your time?
Yeah, 25% of the time from last 1 month, and I think it's really worth it.
You know guys, like I said, I also, in spite of the fact that I'm not an investor, in spite of the fact that I normally don't even facilitate a lot of investors, I do happen to be a lot of people. I think we're being very conservative with the time estimates here. And, you know, pitching is addictive. Pitching for money is addictive. And we know what happens with addictions, right? It gets to a stage where you can't function without it. So you spend more and more and more time finding out more and more and more investors, and in spite of what Sasha said, there aren't enough investors in this ecosystem. Not when your pitching is addictive. And then you start getting a litany of complaints. You get into a vicious cycle of rejections. You've been pitching the same damn idea to 40 different people for 4 months, of course you're getting rejected. Has the idea developed? Has there been movement? Sometimes take a step back. Think about what you really need. I understand that businesses at specific times do need money. Do they need money all the time? Do they start needing money from the moment they're incorporated? Not so sure. Every time you tell yourself that now I will go and pitch for funds, give yourselves a checklist to see whether you really need those funds. Can you do without them? How long can you do without them? Not everybody has the luxury of being Shah Jahan. When you want to build the Taj Mahal, you have everything ready, snap your fingers, 5,000 guys will come and do it for you. And Shah Jahan had to build the Taj Mahal in today's ecosystem, you won't be able to build it. So the only caution that I wanted to leave you with, and I know that this is not what you came for. We came for inspiration. We came to meet Sasha, who represents the money. We came to figure out a way that we could use gaming to get to game and to 35 other people. I know for a fact that he does always answer his emails the way he said. Always. Before today, he didn't know me from Adam, but he's answered my mails. But the fact remains, do you really need him? Can you do it without them? To start off, do you really need a cushy office? Do you need a team of 6? How far have you committed yourselves? Every time a guy puts money into you, you fail, his money is gone. You still have a chance of survival, that money has none. How much have you committed? There is life before funding, there is life beyond funding, there is life other than funding. We have one of the, or rather historically we have had one of the most difficult economic ecosystems anywhere in the world. But business in India has grown year on year. In spite of the fact that neither was money available, nor was infrastructure available, nor was support available, nor was facilitation available. In the last 5 years, we've done ourselves signal disservice by making abundant money available. What it has done is it's lulled everyone into a false sense of expectation that now we don't need to work hard. Unless your idea doesn't let you sleep, doesn't let you eat, doesn't let you breathe, you are not an entrepreneur. Please share it. If you are happy spending 35 to 40% of your time chasing money, you're not in it for the fun of the game. Share that. Brutal. But that's the only takeaway I want you to have today as far as I'm concerned. Entrepreneurship is explosively growing, but it's still not for everyone. If it's for you, you will know it. And that means that you will be solutioning day in, day out. You'll get up in the middle of the night and start putting stuff on paper. If you're doing it because it's attractive, don't do it, please. If you're doing it because everyone has succeeded, don't do it. If you're building an e-commerce platform, as far as I won't go there. Don't do it unless you are absolutely compelled to. Don't do it because you're not finding a job right now. Don't do it because your best friend is telling you it's a great idea. And if you do it, please give it the respect it deserves. Commit to it. Rack your brains. Forget the money. The best way to get money is forget the money. Keep conversations open. Talk to people. Let them know what you're doing. Don't make a pitch.
Can I add on? So, I have discussed like 4 hours I'm spending, and you were telling like 4 hours, 25% was a waste of time, right? Like 25% which we are spending on funding is a waste of time. But I'm telling like I have now pitched scenarios. Like we pitched 2 times this for the accelerator, and we know that accelerator was the right choice for the team. And
I didn't say it's a waste of time. I said as an entrepreneur, figure out if it's worth 25% of your time.
Figuring out, and like after going to the investors, maybe if my product, investors are the client, there can be different aspects of it. So
alright, I'm going to stop you there for 1 second, please. If you think investors are your clients, don't do it. A business caters to an end user. The client of a business can never be an investor unless it is a product that fits into his business. Yes. So if you're doing business plan evaluations for funds, then he's no longer an investor, he's an end user.
Are you? So don't take this personally.
No, it's not like that. The product is being used by an investor as well.
No, it is fine. Yeah. Then the investor is not an investor,
Yeah,
he's an end user.
he's a client.
So yours is a very unique case. That your investor is also your end user, which gives you a lot of strength. In which case, if you're talking to investors for only 25% of your time, you're not doing enough.
No, then the remaining time we have to spend on.
My point was very simply that an investor will give you fuel for growth. Yes. But if you have fuel in the tank, don't waste your time looking for a petrol pump. Drive. If your business is with him, great. But then why only 4 hours?
For remaining time, definitely on the product. Because
then the 4 hours is wasted because you're not ready. Look, guys, the logic here, and we can do this all day. I've been doing this for years now. I can do this all night, next day. Logic is a merciless master. Doesn't allow 1 degree of variation from the straight and narrow. And that is the unfortunate thing about it, that's the beautiful part about it. It makes you stick to a goal. Logic doesn't go that way or that way ever. It's a straight line. So I take your point. You're somewhere in your journey which I don't understand. It's just fine, so long as you understand. My question was for people who are chasing investors because they're investors, not because they're end users. So if you're not in that bracket, if you're not in that bucket, you are where you are, you understand that far better than I do. You want to come down, talk about your business plan, my door is always open, the coffee is good. But other than that, this is just focus on the fundamentals of the business. You focus on making money, money will chase you, money will come to you because every investor wants to make money. You chase money. There's a balance bar involved, right? When you go to an investor, say I have got 4,000 paying customers, with X% repeat, you walk like that. When you go and say, I have an idea and you need to go through my business plan and I'm actually looking for only $5 million. Which posture would you rather have? Please take control of your conversations, and that control comes only when you're backing it up with performance. So yes, this is an alternative funding idea as far as I am concerned. Work and let the money come to you. That's all I've got. I'm open to questions.
Yes. So we are a well-funded startup, which is with healthcare marketing. And now we're looking for some expansion. Basically, considering territories and open new segments. So now we have this cloud because I was making some business plan for Mumbai regions only. So if I'm looking for X amount of funding, and which is which I'm going to spend in the next 2 years. And I know that for this next 2 years I won't be able to sell or use my revenue that I was generating because of this traction, because of the money that I'll be getting. And at the end of the second year, the money will get exhausted. So what I want to ask is that what would be the expectation from the investor's point of view? That amount that will be there as a revenue for those 2 years would be there at the end of the time. What would you expect? How much should how much should be traction at the end of the second year?
Look, that's going to be a very different perspective depending on who's looking at it. If you were to come to me and just for advice, I don't invest, like I said, I would tell you 2 things. A 24-month runway is too long a projection. You're going to mark your numbers somewhere. Look for a shorter period. And nobody can tell you where to milestone.
But if your numbers are rational, if you're showing decent traction, and you're showing the prospect of business growing, you see, from an investor's perspective, the only way for him to recover his money, or the money, is if the value of your business grows. Right? If you're showing good traction, if you're being innovative about it, if you're going out, grabbing the customer, if your cost of acquisition is not too high, and please focus on what he said. You've got to make your unit economics work. We've gone through multiple stages in this entire funding thing. So ideas used to get funded, and people started telling you, no, startup, and then we'll fund you. Then they said, bring me proof of concept. Then they said, no, show me traction. Then they said, what was it, CAC? So, the cat of cat, as I like to call it. And ultimately, revelation, discovery. Oh my gosh, on each transaction you have to make money. Ask your neighborhood grocer, he understands that. But in the server ecosystem, we kind of accidentally happened onto it about 10 years down the road. If your unit economics are working, you're good. Even if you're pumping in money, if you're still showing the fact that you have the ability to make money transaction by transaction, you're good. And that's the expectation that just getting filtered into. We've gone through everything else. A community of 5 million, 10 million, 20 million with no ability to monetize it. Versus a community of 10,000, the ability to monetize every single member. What's great is the ability to monetize them 5 times a day. Depends on what your business is. But if you're getting there in terms of I can make money on every transaction, and I'm not going to lose all of that money on acquiring new customers, you're good.
I have met you in other organizations,
So you're a repeat customer. See, I'm getting loyalty already.
So one thing I would like to know from you, since you are a veteran in this field, you have a good, I have seen in your past conferences, your organization have a good network of bankers with SME, BSc and NSC as well as venture capitalists. So what do you think the trend is going to be, and in the coming years, in the coming 2-3 years maybe, do you think this early startup companies should rather go for SME listing or venture capitalists? Because right after one of your conference, and when I was pitching to NSE, I have some merchant bankers coming to my Kashi office to get listed in NSE. So I'm a little bit confused right now whether to go for a seed funding venture capitalist or to just give my little bit of time, whatever I can afford, in SME listing in NSE or venture capitalist. So what do you think? I'm asking some kind of a suggestion from you, because you're already handling a lot of startups and SMEs.
The funding platforms and funding routes. These are like heels and hems. They go up, they come down, they go up, they come down. What works for your business at any particular point of time? That's what I'm saying. Let's not do fashion here. Let's leave that to.
Asking for my.
No, I'm just saying. Let's leave fashion to Don Karen. So there was somebody who was asking Sasha, what are your 10 themes for the year? This is not Sasha's spring collection, please. The reason why all these routes exist parallelly is because there is space for all of them. But they have to work for your business. The guy who's seeking seed funding is hardly a candidate for SME board listing. Because an SME board listing, unless look at only basic facts, requires you should have been around for 3 years. And in order to pay the fees, you should be doing minimally 25-30 crores in revenue. So if a merchant banker came out all the way to your Vashi office, when you're looking for seed funding and asked you to list on the NSE SME board, my advice to you is gently walk them outside the door, show them the way to the party and tell them keep walking. Look, there are many business models that have evolved around the startup space. Many of those models involve getting into your pocket. And fine, that's a great business model for the guy who's running it. But ultimately, sit down and figure out what works for your business. So if you're looking at seed stage funding, then you're looking at seed stage funding. You could scale it down to FNX, or you could say, no, fine, I find the means to run this for a little while further, and I'll go for a slightly larger amount. But there's nothing else for it at that point. Good, thank you.
Thanks, Funda. Our next speaker was stuck at Kharkov for almost 2 hours, and she wouldn't be able to make it. So I'm just putting this session open for networking in like 5 minutes. On behalf of such a space, I would like to thank each of you for coming, making this effort of coming here all the way in this potential range. And I hope we'll be able to give you some good insights around funding, about raising funds, approaching investors, etc. If you have any feedback, please feel free to write to us at letstalk@citrusday.com. We'll be happy to hear from you. In case you're looking for a payment partner, you are evaluating payment, gateway, etc. During the networking session that's Richard, please reach out to Richard and his team who will help you out. Right? We are also rolling out some cool offers, so just to help you get started. And watch out for your inbox on Monday. You should be able to hear from us soon. We are opening the session for networking. We have some numbers and soft drinks available to assist you. I'm sorry I couldn't do beer because there's some regulation around taking a Monday permit, and that's too much in Maharashtra. Bangalore UpStart, I've seen enough of beer. And I just request our 3 speakers to come up to the stage for a quick pick together, so that we can also treat you very well. Any of your tweeting, please do hashtag UpStart everyone. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. And thanks to the team,